Alright, so this is the skill we're making today's devlog. As you can see, you spawn in the guns, and each time you M1 while you have the guns active, it shoots out a CERO and plays the sound. So this one is probably going to be a little bit shorter than usual, mainly because it wasn't that hard. It was actually relatively easy to make. If you guys have been keeping up with my devlogs, you will find it easy to make as well. Bear in mind, join my Discord server. I have loads of open source code there. Bear in mind as well, I'm going to be open sourcing this video as well as the vast storage and some of my older videos for server boosters individually. So if you guys server boost my server, you guys will have access to a lot more open source videos, even if they don't hit the like goal. So the like goal for this to be open source is 200 likes. Even if it doesn't hit it, I'm going to be open sourcing it inside the server booster channel in like a day. So yeah, join up. And without further ado, let's get straight into it. All right, so for the user input, this is pretty different than normally how I would do it. But the reason why is because I wanted so that it detects two individual inputs. So the first input is checking for is when the user presses Z, and when the user does press Z, bear in mind I made a boolean called can use. This is so like it has a cooldown, so you can't spam M1. So yeah, I did it. So whenever you press Z, it fires to the server the remote event, the skill remote with an argument called start. And when the server receives that remote event, that's pretty much me telling the server to spawn the guns. Then after that, each time Z is pressed and then the M1 is pressed, you can see here it fires to the server start M1, and I set can use, and I'm checking if can use is true. And can use is only going to be true at the start, and then you can see here can use is set to false, and after 1 second it's set to true again, making it so it has like a 1 second interval between each bullet. So then you can see it fires to the server start M1 each time it's clicked. So pretty much what happens is I press Z, spawns in the guns. Each time I click, it shoots a gun, and then the server will catch the events and do something with them. All right, so to begin, we're going to explain everything that's happening inside the first function inside the module. So you can see I have two different functions inside the module. I have one called the gun mode, so it starts the gun, and the second one called the start M1. So pretty much what the two of them do is this is going to run whenever the user presses Z, and this will be fired, and this will be required by the server, and it will start. And then this function inside the module will start only when the Z is pressed and then the user M1s, and obviously we have the cooldown etc there, so they can't spam it. So yeah, I'm going to be explaining what this part does first. So essentially I'm going to show examples as well. So yeah, you can see I'm just getting all some values of the character, and then what I'm doing is I'm cloning the guns from replicated storage and I'm welding them to my character's hand. But before that though, I want a little, like, you know, that blue effect to appear, so it doesn't look like the guns just spawned in. So what I did was I did this so bad to explain. I used my skill replicator and I fired to all clients, and I had two arguments so the client will know exactly which, like, I guess you could say, effect I want to fire. And then I'm just printing this out so I can know, you know, it's successfully fired. And then after a task wait of 0.3 seconds, I decide to weld the guns to the character's hands. You could do this inside the replication as well, but I decided to do it on the server because there's not much of a difference when it comes to like models and stuff. So yeah, you can see I added the walls after 0.3 seconds. I just did a function to add the walls because I didn't want to write it twice. Added the walls to the right arm and the left arm, and then I added the idle animation. And then after a task delay of 6 seconds, I'm pretty much resetting it. So after 6 seconds, it's deleting the effects, it's deleting the guns. You can see here, after task wait 5.85, it fires to the client, disables dark effects, and on the client replicator, which I will show after this, it deletes all the effects. And then at task delay of 6 seconds, it destroys all the welds, destroys all the guns, and stops the animation. So now, when I run the code, you can see I press Z, it spawns in the guns. You can wait 6 seconds. You're gonna wait, and you're gonna see the blue effects appear. Yep, and it deletes the gun. I can press Z again, the blue effects appear, and then the gun spawn in the character's hand. But now I'm gonna be explaining the part of how you actually shoot like this. All right, so that part is relatively simple as well. It's an entirely new function, but what we're doing is we're playing the sound each time, but we're also like shaking the camera. So we get the single client replicator, which is a remote event that I made to replicate only the individual client. So an example is, let's just say you wanted a camera shake only for the user, then you would use the single client replicator to replicate to only that individual, not everybody in the game. So yeah, then I'm sending it to the client, telling it to shake. And then what I'm also doing is I'm sending the client side of the VFX. So I am telling it to spawn the bullet, and then I'll show you the client side of the script anyway, and you see what I mean there. So this is just like the logic behind the code. so no effects will actually show up if I didn't have the client replicator. But then what I'm doing next is I'm spawning the hitbox. If you guys are confused on the hitbox, I explained it all in a different part. I think it was part 7 in Devlog 7 where I explained how I do my hitboxes. But yeah, that's me doing the hitbox. And after that, I'm making it shoot the play the animation. It's really that simple. So now if I were to like disable the client replicator script, which I'll do now, you can see I disabled it. Now if I were to run it, the code won't break. You can see the code won't break. It still works. It will still do damage like this. Okay, you still do damage, you can see, but no effects are actually being played. So this is what the server sees, I guess you could say. Like the server is seeing only no effects, just raw code. Doesn't look nice at all, but I'm replicating the effects onto each client to prevent lag, basically. So then if I were to go and re-enable the client replicator script, so now when I press it, you can see it spawns in the effects, and this time you can actually see the VFX and the beam, how the beam, you know, grows, etc., which I'm going to be showing you guys how I did that now. So yeah. All right, so first of all, inside the spawn, inside the replicator, what I did was if the action was a spawn effects, which was we defined it. So if the action was spawn effects, then I'm telling it to spawn the effects on the character's hand. So I'm pretty much warding the part to the hand of the character, and then it's going to spawn and emit the particles on the hand, which kind of makes it look like you know, the gun was spawning in, and that was like the effects like of the gun spawning in. And then I did an else if. So if the action was disable effects for the start, then what it's doing is you can see it clones the effects, and then it's pretty much doing the exact same thing as enabling the effects. It's just cloning them, spawning them on the character's hand, and then it's adding the world, and then it's emitting the particles again. That way it's kind of like you spawn the effects and you disable the gun, and the effects play again when you disable the gun. I'm not that gonna explain that part though. But yeah, then we're doing, if the action is spawn bullet, then you're waiting 0.1 seconds. So it waits a little bit before spawning the bullet so you can actually do the part of the animation. And then what it does is it spawns the bullet at a certain angle. I'm just setting the origin for the value that I passed in. And then it spawns in the bullet, as you can see, changes the orientation, etc. But then the part for the beam, to make the beam move, so this is what I did. I make a table that stores all the A2 attachments. I explained this way better in my previous devlog video where I was talking about the Vasto reach. That one explains how all this works perfectly. But yeah, you can see I made a table that stores all the A2 attachments, and then I looped through the VFX and I stored all the all the A2 attachments inside of the table. And then I'm pretty much just tweening each individual, like I'm looping through it and tweening each individual item inside the A2 attachment table. And yeah, I'm tweening it to make it go to the target position, and that's pretty much it. Then I'm destroying the VFX after a certain amount of time. So now when I run it, yeah, it's pretty simple. Like I'm not gonna lie to you, this skill, like the reason why it might seem like I'm rushing or I'm not really explaining it well, is because it's pretty easy. If you guys have been keeping up my devlogs, you will really find this easy. I'm not gonna lie. You see, it spawns in the gun, you shoot, and there's the little beam. Let me zoom out. You can see the beam actually travels. I'm probably gonna adjust the time to make it like travel like way quicker, because I don't know, it looks kind of weird when it travels that fast, but you guys kind of get the point. So yeah. 背が背中割ってしつくは一つだってけど目を覚ましてよ Get down もう間もなく願いを文字に起こした知識に乗って